You know, there's somebody that I have not seen in a very, very long time. I wonder whether you can work out who it is. It's somebody that I used to talk to quite a while back. We had some pretty amazing conversations, really. And I'd take him to church, and I'd sometimes take him to school as well. And but we always had to be very careful. I had to be very careful because he's very, very shy, you see, and doesn't like talking to people. Certainly didn't like it in the past because he was very, very quiet. And if anybody called out to him or shouted out or made a really big noise, didn't like it at all. And he'd retreat back into his little hidey hole. So it's been quite a while since we met him. It's been quite hard recently, of course, because we've had lockdown, so he's been feeling a little bit sorry for himself as well. But I thought that just for today we'd have a little go and see if he might come out and say hello. Shall we try it, do you think? Shall I see if he'd like to meet you? I'm going to just bring him out very, very carefully. Oh, here he is. This is his hidey hole, you see. This is where he hides. Let's just see if he'll come out, shall we? Oh, there. Oh, do you remember him? Do you remember his name? Do you remember it? That's right. It's Scruff. It's Scruff. Scruff, would you like to say hello, Scruff? Pardon? I can't hear you, Scruff. Would you like to say hello?
Woof.
Pardon?
Woof.
Scruff, you know that I can't speak dog. You're going to have to speak human for me. Okay, just try again. Just say hello.
Hello.
Pardon?
Hello.
Ah, that's much better. Now then, I know that you've had a really hard time recently. It's been very difficult for Scruff recently. You've missed all your friends, haven't you? You've missed everybody, and you've not been able to stay at your favourite kennels either. But I think that you need to start getting out a little bit more. You know, things are just starting to get a little bit easier now. Things are starting to get a little bit better.
I'm scared.
Why? Why are you scared? What have you got to be scared for?
I'm scared because I'm still nervous about leaving the house. I like lying on my mat.
Scruff, I know that's true, but remember, I'll always look after you. I'll always take care of you. I'll not let you get into trouble. I'll keep you safe. I will do. I will keep him really, really safe.
You're my favourite human because you feed me those lovely dog biscuits. You know, the ones that taste like rabbit.
Scruff, you've got to be careful. You can't talk like that. Some people might have bunny rabbits as pets. You can't say things like that.
I'm sorry. I like those goldfish flavoured treats
Scruff,
too.
what have I told you? Anyway, don't worry. You're a very, very special dog, and I will always, always take care of you. And it's not just me saying that. It's God saying it as well. God wants to look after you. Yes, he does. Because God really loves you.
Really?
Yes, he does. Really.
Even with my fleas and nits and worms?
Oh, Scruffy, even with your fleas and your nits and your worms. Anyway, don't worry. I've got some worming tablets, so I'll give you one bit later. Oh, I know. Anyway, listen, don't worry. There's a story in the Bible, you know. Very interesting story, all about this. It's a funny one. It's a bit of a strange reading, really, from the Gospels. I don't really understand it properly myself. I'm not clever enough to understand it. There are a lot of people who understand it and can explain it far better than me. But it's a bit weird as well. It's a funny, strange kind of story. It's all about wheat and weeds. That's right, yes, wheat and weeds. Well, anyway, it started with wheat, with some wheat seeds that a man decided to sow. And then a very, very naughty person came along and thought, I'm going to have a bit of fun here. I'm going to plant some weeds in the middle of the wheat. I'm going to do that just for a bit of fun. So that's what he did. And when eventually the plants grew, the wheat grew, along with the wheat, there came all these weeds as well. Ended up with some nice wheat, but with some pretty nasty, horrible weeds there as well.
Woof, woof, woof.
What have I told you, Scruff? Talk human.
Naughty, naughty, naughty.
Yes, he was. He was very, very, very naughty indeed. And I think he was quite tempted to pull those weeds out. But the problem was, if you pull the weeds out at the same time, he'd also pull out the wheat. So pulling out all the bad stuff, he'd end up pulling out all the good plants as well. So that didn't seem a very sensible thing to do. So you know what he did? He decided to leave them there together and just let them grow together. It's a funny story with not a very nice ending, to be honest, if you read to the end of it. But I think it's saying something about us. It's saying something about how we maybe shouldn't judge people. Wheat or weeds, just let them all grow together. Not for us to judge which is the wheat and which are the weeds.
To be honest, you don't even know the difference.
Oh, hang on a minute, that's not true. Well, maybe it is a little bit. Yeah, or maybe it is quite a lot true, to be honest with you. But you know, I think the best thing is to leave it all to God. I've got enough to do myself looking after you, Scruff, I have to say. Leave it to God. It's not for me to decide who's wheat and who's weeds. Treat everybody exactly the same. That's what I think. Because, you know, everybody deserves to be loved. Everyone is special. Weeds, wheat, roses, whatever.
What? Even me?
Yes, even you, Scruff.
Well, will you tickle my tummy then?
All right, then come here. Let me give your tummy a tickle.